Now, a new analysis shows that the 6-ton iconic altar stone at the heart of Stonehenge reveals its construction was a far greater collaborative effort than scientists had previously believed. For 5,000 years, the stones have stood in silence, enduring wind, rain, and the shadows of passing centuries. Every generation looked at them and asked the same question, why? Now, for the first time, that question has an answer, and it didn't come from an archaeologist. It came from an artificial intelligence. Earlier this year, a team of researchers fed everything humanity has ever known about Stonehenge into a self-learning AI, every excavation record, astronomical chart, soil sample, acoustic test, and satellite scan. They expected it to find a small clue, perhaps a forgotten pattern in the layout. What it returned instead left even the scientists speechless. The machine found a repeating code buried not in text or numbers but in stone itself, a pattern connecting the monument's impossible engineering, its magnetic composition, and its perfect alignment with a mysterious point in space. It wasn't a temple, it wasn't a calendar, it wasn't even a symbol. According to the AI, Stonehenge was designed as a machine, one with a singular purpose, one that seems to be counting down. They're calling it the Stonehenge algorithm. If that sounds far-fetched, remember that every ancient culture encoded something in stone, knowledge, warnings, prophecies, but none have ever been so precise, so deliberate, so technologically strange. And what's even more unsettling is this: the countdown hasn't stopped. It's still running right now. The first mystery the AI unraveled was the origin of the stones themselves. For centuries, experts debated how Neolithic builders managed to transport these colossal blocks without wheels, beasts of burden, or metal tools. Some said glaciers carried them south during the Ice Age. Others insisted that human hands dragged them across impossible distances. But now, with modern geological mapping and data modeling, there's no longer any debate. The stones were moved by people, and that alone should have been impossible. The smaller blue stones, each weighing nearly 4 tons, were traced to quarries in the Preseli Hills of Wales, more than 120 miles away. The sheer logistics boggle the mind: thousands of workers hauling ton after ton of rock over rivers and rough terrain, guided only by ropes, wooden sledges, and sheer willpower. Yet, according to this AI reconstruction, that was only the beginning. It found that the 6-ton altar stone at the monument's heart didn't come from Wales at all, it came from northern Scotland, nearly 400 miles away. Imagine dragging a pickup truck from New York to Pittsburgh without wheels or engines, and you begin to understand the scale of obsession behind this monument. The effort wasn't random. It wasn't even symbolic. The AI found that the stones from these far-flung places have different mineral and magnetic properties, and it knew its placement wasn't aesthetic, it was functional. Each stone was chosen like a part in a huge circuit board, selected to interact with the Earth's magnetic field in specific ways. Together, they formed a structure that can harness energy on a planetary level. This insight reframed everything. What once looked like primitive devotion now read as deliberate engineering. The AI's analysis revealed that the layout of the site matched up not to religious architecture, but to resonance patterns, frequencies found in modern electrical systems, even in the construction of antennas. Stonehenge wasn't a random circle of rocks, it was a machine calibrated for the planet itself. The builders of Stonehenge weren't merely worshipping the heavens, they were building something that could communicate with them. According to the AI's model, the arrangement of the stones aligns not only with the summer and winter solstices, as historians long believed, but also with an invisible point in the night sky, a fixed position which doesn't correspond to any known star. This alignment repeats on an immense cycle thousands of years long. When the sun rises at the height of midsummer, a narrow shaft of light passes through the monument's central axis, pointing not at the sun itself but beyond it towards that same dark point in the cosmos. The AI concluded that the design of the monument was devised to mark a particular stellar conjunction, one which will initiate an energetic event of unknown origin. For years, "We thought Stonehenge was a temple to the sky." The AI suggests that it was more like a switch built to activate when the heavens return to that ancient configuration. The question is, what happens when it does? That's where the findings turn from astonishing to terrifying. The AI's next discovery shifted the story from stone and stars to something hidden in the air itself, something no human ear could hear. This breakthrough had come from a set of acoustic experiments. Years before the AI study, researchers had constructed a perfect 1:12 scale model of Stonehenge to test its acoustic properties. Using 3D scans and printed replicas, they recreated its layout to an astonishingly fine degree of precision. When they spoke, sang, or drummed within it, the sounds didn't escape, they swirled. Most thought it was an accidental echo, the byproduct of ceremony. The AI disagreed. When it ran those same acoustic readings through millions of simulations, extending them far beyond the limits of human hearing, it found something much more chilling. The structure wasn't built to amplify music or speech, but it was to generate infrasound. Infrasound exists below the threshold of human hearing, below 20 Hz. You can't hear it, but you can feel it. It vibrates through your organs, creating sensations of unease, dread, and even despair. Scientists have documented its effects: sudden chills, nausea, hallucinations, the overwhelming sense that something is watching. The AI determined that Stonehenge's geometry could concentrate this frequency into a steady, focused wave, a pulse of low vibration powerful enough to be felt for miles. Imagine thousands of people gathered inside that circle, unaware of the sound pressing through their bodies, anxiety, or submission. The AI suggested that this was not an accident. It was engineered. According to its model, the builders of Stonehenge designed a sonic weapon, a tool of psychological control. The frequency would have altered the emotional state of anyone who came near, making them fearful, reverent, and compliant. The monument itself became an instrument of influence, capable of shaping collective behavior without a single spoken word. This discovery redefined the monument's purpose. The people who built it weren't merely priests. They were scientists, psychologists, and rulers. They knew how to manipulate the mind through vibration. The AI's conclusion was brutal. Stonehenge was a device of control, a monument of power disguised as faith. But control for what? That question led to the AI's next revelation and to the civilization behind the stones. Archaeologists once described Stonehenge as a monument of unity. They found bones and artifacts from people across ancient Britain and thought it was some kind of grand collaborative project, a celebration of shared purpose. The AI disagreed by running societal simulations based on resource needs, labor distribution, and population estimates. It found that something of this complexity could not have been built by loosely connected tribes. It required central authority, a hierarchy, coordination on a scale that no one in the Neolithic world should have possessed. The AI's data painted a stark picture: a small elite ruling class controlling the knowledge, labor, and logistics necessary to command tens of thousands of workers. The stones dragged from across the British Isles were not symbols of peace. They were tribute. Each region sent a piece of its land, a piece of itself, to serve the will of the unseen architects. This wasn't unity. It was domination. The AI dubbed them the Ghost Empire. Their weapons were not spears or chariots, but understanding of acoustics, astronomy, and fear. The Ghost Empire ruled without leaving castles or cities. Their legacy was the machine itself, a monument that could outlive language and memory. The AI estimated the project lasted several lifetimes, with entire generations born and buried in service of this construction. It was their masterpiece and their secret. Yet for all their power, even they seemed afraid. Every decision, the orientation, the minerals, the sound frequencies all pointed toward one purpose: preparation. The monument wasn't designed to control the people but, rather, to respond to something greater. When the AI integrated all the data, magnetic readings, celestial coordinates, acoustic resonance, and isotopic composition, the result was astounding. Stonehenge was no temple. It was a mechanism, a machine waiting for the sky to return to its ancient alignment. The AI presented two possibilities. The first, Stonehenge was a shield. Its configuration could create a local magnetic field strong enough to deflect or absorb certain types of cosmic radiation. The sound might have been a form of alarm, a signal for people to gather inside the circle during recurring celestial storms. In that context, the builders were protectors, guardians who used knowledge to save their people from an event they knew would come again. The second possibility was far darker. Stonehenge wasn't a shield. It was an amplifier. The monument would draw in the energy of a cosmic event, focus it, and amplify it like a lens. The infrasound wasn't a warning, it was a frequency to synchronize the human body with the machine's power. Rituals inside weren't prayers, they were calibrations. The people gathered within are not witnesses, they are part of the mechanism. That theory changed everything. If true, that meant Stonehenge isn't built to protect against the heavens, it was built to communicate with them. The stones, selected for their metallic and crystalline composition, may work as perfect resonators. Each one emitted a slightly different frequency, and when combined, they produced a harmonic chord matching the theoretical vibration of spacetime. The massive altar in the middle, dragged 400 m from Scotland, was the key. Its unique mineral structure made it the master resonator, the final note that completed the chord. According to the AI, when that alignment in the sky comes back, the monument may turn on. And when it does, it might just make more than sound. It might open something. The point in the sky that Stonehenge tracks is not empty. It may be a fixed destination, a coordinate in space, or something beyond it. The AI called it a spatial anchor. Perhaps the Ghost Empire indeed thought it was building a bridge, a doorway between worlds. If so, the question is no longer what they were trying to protect themselves from but what they were trying to reach. Every line of data led the AI to the same conclusion: the countdown is still running and the next alignment is close. Whether that means protection, activation, or something else entirely, nobody can say. But one thing is for sure: the stones are waiting. The next thing the AI revealed even pushed the scientists past the edge of reason. When it reprocessed all the celestial data through astrophysical models, it found that the dark point in the sky which Stonehenge is aligned with isn't symbolic. It's a real, measurable coordinate.